Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. It is November, and we've made it. And
Yeah.
today we have Dr. Moss to join us. She is a direct primary care physician that I've had the great pleasure of speaking with before. And well, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm very happy that you're here. I'm very happy that we have somebody in Pinellas County doing direct primary care. It's certainly not as common as it's going to be in about 10 more minutes.
Right.
But you are at the cutting edge of what I think is so fantastic, which is just innovating, listening to your patients, and then creating the business medical practice that you want to have that's best suited for your life and for your patient's life. Do I assume correctly?
Yes. Yes. That's a good assumption that you made.
Good. Well, I would love for you to just, first of all, tell everybody a little bit about you and why you decided to go into the direct primary care model.
Sure. Well, I'm a family doctor. My board certification is in family medicine, and I've, always just wanted to have my own practice. It was something that I wanted to do coming out of residency, but timing, funding, et cetera, wasn't the right time. And when I decided to make the jump, it was because I felt, in my heart that people needed to be heard. They don't want to be treated like a number. They don't want 2 minutes in the office visit and then, they've been waiting for an hour and a half.
Mhm.
And for the patients that have known me a long time, they know how I practice, and it's looking you in the eye and listening to what's going on and finding out what your life is like. Because in my experience, a lot of the diagnosis, a lot of the problem can come, you can figure it out from just listening to the person in front of you. So if you don't take the time to do that, it just becomes a, well, here, try this, or here, try that, rather than, working together to come up with solutions that'll really work for that individual person.
Sure. So, can you tell everybody a little bit about what the direct primary care model is? Because I don't think it's it's common in my vernacular to say
Sure.
things like direct primary care, but I don't think a lot of people know exactly what that model is. So let's let the audience hear about that.
Sure. Well, direct primary care means basically you're directly contracted with patient and doctor. So we try not to invite a middleman in to the exam room with us. So for a lot of people, that's their insurance company or something like that that dictates, okay, we can do this and this, but not this, and or we can only spend this much time because I've got to make sure that everybody else in that queue is seen. In a nutshell, the contract between the physician and the doctor is what you make it. So in my practice, it's an annual fee that if need be, we can break it up into monthly installments. For other direct primary care practices, it might be a little bit different, but we also make sure that when you come, um, it's not necessarily limited. So if I need to see somebody 4 days in a row for a wound that we're, rebandaging or treating, or I need to see it because, they've got an infection or something, there's no additional cost to them, coming in. And I've found that people will delay lots of things because they think, oh, I can't afford it, or I can't go back, or I can't go in. They know that, okay, well, I know I saw her Tuesday. She said to come back Thursday, but it's already kind of built into my budget. It's already done. And so people are less likely to put off something important.
So, some real talk here, some candid talk here.
Mhm.
Um, Speaking from all of what I've heard through the years, when I tell patients about what direct primary care is, they say they think it's concierge and they think it's just for the rich. I mean, I've heard these are the things people say to me.
Sure.
I don't have that kind of money. Why would I go to a doctor that doesn't take insurance? Now, I know, because I mostly work with physicians that don't take insurance,
Mhm.
that it's a personal choice, number one, right?
Yeah.
Um, when you hear all of the complaining about how long you have to wait to get an appointment, how little a doctor spends with you, how there is no eye contact, that is because that is a very corporate model where, just like you said, there's only a certain amount of time allotted and a whole bunch of people waiting in the waiting room, and you have to go, go, go. So breaking out of the corporate model, which I like to call it like the handcuffs, and
Yeah.
going, oh, I want to practice medicine the way I actually thought it would be like in medical school,
Yeah.
really taking care of people and spending time with them and enjoying what you're doing, which I know I can see the joy. The first time I met you, even though it was through Zoom, I could still see
Right.
joy, contrary to what people might believe. And I think that there's a lot of misnomers out there. So I want to kind of combat what those misnomers are. First of all, where do you show your pricing for the model? Is it on the website? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I have my pricing right on the website, so there's no surprises or anything like that. And for anybody who has questions about, they don't know who I am or they don't know if they feel comfortable, we can do like a Zoom like this, or have them come in and, see where the office is, see what it looks like, make sure that they're comfortable before they ever sign on the dotted line. And for me, and every doctor price is different, includes different things, has different services, but our pricing isn't that much more than the average cell phone bill, or or what most people are probably spending on a fancy
Starbucks?
coffee. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Let's just throw them under the bus. I'm thinking about going and get one after this.
Right, exactly. So, given, putting it in that kind of perspective, people kind of get, oh, okay, yeah, that's not that expensive. For mine, it's $100 a month. So, it's, I think, fairly pretty affordable. And for people who, and because I have patients that have insurance too, they'll use their insurance for like their labs or x-rays, or if they have to go have a specialist or a procedure done. But they appreciate that when they call me, I can call them back. Our staff gets back to you. We don't have the, oh, you'll call and never hear back again, or, I never knew what my lab results were. I take the time to actually type them out and say, okay, this is what we have, this is where we're going, these are the next steps. So there's no, question marks. They don't feel like they've been abandoned out there.
Well, I'm super grateful that you shared that, because now I'd like to, speak about $100 a month.
Sure.
Holy crap, people! That's only $100 a month.
Yeah.
Like, I spend $100 on my hair.
Right.
In a day. So, right, like, there's a lot of it. But there's something to be said about making this personal choice, right?
Mhm.
Because God knows I have heard the complaints about waiting and the front office staff and how nasty everybody is, and not all the time, but big majority. The hospitality and healthcare portion of this direct primary care is bar none, surpasses what the average primary care practice will look like. And now everybody can get mad at me if they want to. I have yet to go in and feel like, wow, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Somebody to throw a clipboard at me and tell me to sign in. It is amazing that people will spend or really base everything that they do with their own health on an insurance card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then complain about it.
Yeah.
So we're here to tell you that you have a choice now.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And you don't just offer primary care, you also do some great cosmetic
Yeah.
in your office. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So, and this is just something that I thought was fun, and that mostly my female, but I have female clients that decided, oh, this is fun. I'd rather come to you than go across to Tampa or something like that. What do you think about offering this? So I did a little research and I was like, oh yeah, this looks like something I could definitely do and definitely offer. And what I like about it is that, there's some instant gratification, right? And on top of that, people walk out feeling a little bit more confident. So for me, it's also gratifying. So I get something out of it too.
And so that is like some Botox and
Mhm.
some wonderful, maybe Juvederm or something. So, but
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you have it in a place where they feel comfortable already?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what has it been like during this pandemic for you, personally and then professionally?
So personally, it's been a little difficult, because that same connection that we have, we've had to, space out appointments unlike we had before and things like that. And then with my family, my husband is in a high risk category. So, we've been trying to be extra careful, and I'm a doctor. So I'm like, on the front lines, exposed, trying to keep myself healthy as well. So that's been a little stressful. We have our kids that are homeschooling, and my husband's help, taking care of the lion's share of that because he
Mhm.
also has an IT business and can do a lot of things remotely. So he's been working from home, teaching from home, trying to coordinate that stuff. Um, haven't been able to see our families because we have family. Our moms are down in Miami, so trying to make sure that they stay healthy too. So those are kind of the personal aspects of it. Um, Professionally, it's been hard because there's just a lot of people who have a lot of anxiety about a lot of things, but the pandemic really elevated a lot of people's anxiety. And they feel, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but uncomfortable doing anything, whether it's just your regular shopping or coming to the office. We're doing a lot more televisits and things like that, phone and video, so that people can get some care. It may not be the ideal, but at least nobody's abandoned.
Mhm.
Um, but it's hard because I'm a bit empathic. So people that come in and they're feeling down and they're feeling um, anxious, they're just kind of not feeling where they're supposed to be in the world. And I take a lot of that on,
Mhm.
despite you're supposed to be objective and distant, but my patients are like family. So when they're hurting, I'm hurting too. So that's been a little bit rough, is to have a little bit more of that going on.
Well, I've always been, I ran a pediatric office for many years. And before that, it was adult medicine in New York. And what I've realized mostly in the pediatric practice was there needed to be this synergy between primary care and mental health. I would say that we had a lot of referrals out to a lot of therapists, a lot of child psychologists, we're talking about a lot of rehabs,
Mhm.
because of adolescence and such. And primary care offices that are not direct primary care are typically very, very busy.
Yeah. Mhm.
Just, I mean, I would say the busiest practices are the primary care practices.
Absolutely.
Right? Everybody needs one. We all need to go to a doctor and get a physical and get blood work. And so everybody always has that primary care. So have you had some kind of developed relationships with the mental health community, or what does that look like in your office?
Well, for me, I have my favorite go-to people
Yeah.
that I will typically call or give their card to a patient and say, here, this is the person who I think would be the best fit for what you're going through right now. And people don't always follow directions, so we don't always necessarily make that connection. But yeah, I've been basically from the beginning, if you need therapy, I am, definitely can hear what's going on and kind of help you down that road, but I'm not a licensed mental health counselor.
Right.
So I think it's really important to have that, and every counselor is not going to be for everybody, but I really think it's important to have those connections as well.
Yeah, it was just Monday, this past Monday. Well, this is airing Monday. So a week ago
Uh-huh.
today, it was National Stress Awareness Day.
Okay.
And
I
we
was not aware of that.
yeah, I mean, because there's all these new hashtags, which
Yeah.
I'm always grateful for, that we're bringing some attention to these mental health days. We're going to have Suicide Survivor Day coming up in November, And right now there's so much stress, right? And I would assume that, people feel very comfortable with you as their family doctor, that they must be sharing so much with you, and
Yeah.
to be that hope that you're providing is there's a great need, because we're all feeling the stress of what's going
Yeah.
on in the world. Combine that with an election that's the never-ending election, uh,
Right. Right.
and the hurricane models that we're seeing that look
Oh
like,
my gosh.
"Lord,
2020 has been too much already.
much, too much. We deserve some good." So, but there is good. We have a direct primary care physician right here in Pinellas County, which I think I've always been very excited about what you're doing. I love when doctors step out, and really, because it's stepping out in faith
Yeah,
that you can do it, right? I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of fear behind that,
there
because
is.
yeah, much easier to just go ahead and join that big hospital or that big group, and have somebody else run a business.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Because, I never went to business school. I really wish I had. But, the business part is the part that's, a learning curve, at least it was for me. Um,
Even all the other doctors.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's funny that you say that, because I really believe when people say, oh, doctors are terrible at business, I'm like, thank God. Like, thank God, not just for me because it keeps me in business, but because I actually want you to focus on
right.
my health
Yeah,
is way more important than you running that business. So there's people that can help with other things. And I think having programs and maybe some courses and stuff are always great for physicians to learn more. But
mhm,
really, like, I suck at accounting, Dr. Moss. I
right.
Nobody wants me to do accounting for them. They would be broke. So I hire people, and that's what we kind of have to do. We have to navigate. But you're right. I mean, it is such a shocking. I feel like it's shocking to most doctors when they go into business.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't think of how many little things that come up, right?
The things that you didn't think about having to manage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then there's like other humans that have to work for you.
Yes.
That's always fun.
Yes. Exactly.
Well, I am just so happy that you were able to come and talk with me today, because we need you. We
Right.
need you here. You do so, and you also do IV therapy in your practice?
Um, Limited, yes. I have some patients where, if they got dehydrated or if they've got like a headache or something like that, we'll do IVs.
Mhm.
We've thought about expanding it, but we're not quite there yet. And right now with the pandemic, we just don't have the space for everybody to be in and still be socially distanced. So we haven't like proceeded with that yet.
Sure. Have you found more people just reaching out via telehealth through this?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're
Yes.
very comfortable with that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
and it's kind of fun to have a little window into. Usually, it's their home, occasionally an office, but a little window into their home and what it's like. And people will sometimes get all dressed up, and other times they're kind of like in their jammies and like, "Hey, Dr. Moss."
Right, right. It is.
Really
It's great.
interesting.
I love even that was about like the award shows. We've gotten to see dogs running through the ground.
Right.
All of that I think is so fun.
Yeah.
So there's been silver linings for sure through what we're going through, and you certainly being a part of Pinellas County and having a practice right here in Tampa Bay is awesome for all of us. So I highly recommend everybody checks out Dr. Moss. All of the information about how to reach you is in our show notes, and I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Happy Gratitude Month.
Thank you. Definitely feeling the gratitude.
Yes, we'll count our blessings until the next thing hits.
Yes.
No more. We're kidding. All right. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much. Take care. Great.
So don't forget, if you mention that you have seen the show or listened to the podcast, Thai Technology, 3 months for free.